Okay. So I was in the middle of the second video and someone called me and it shut off my video, of course. So now there's 3 videos for one section. I am so, so sorry. I could start all over again, but I don't really want to start all over again. So I'm just going to put the 3 on there and I'm so sorry. But hopefully I won't get any more phone calls while we're doing math. So I think I've kind of lost track at this point, but I'm pretty sure we're on example 2. So we might be on example 3, but we're just going to be on example 2 and we can just review. Okay, so here we go. Example 2. 4z squared, because I totally forgot to see where I ended the last video to start this video, so I'm so sorry. It's a disaster. See, I knew this would be a disaster for me. Okay, so to get rid of a 4 that's next to the z squared, we need to divide by 4. So we're going to divide by 4. Z squared is going to equal 9 over 4. No problem. It's a fraction. Don't be scared. It'll be fine. You have those great calculators. It's no problem. To get rid of a square, we have to square root. We'll square root both sides. Z is going to equal, you can put this right into your calculator. Just make sure it knows to square root the top and the bottom. You might have to do parentheses around your fraction to make sure it does that. I'm not sure. But when you put it in there, you should get 3 over 2 because the square root of 9 is 3 and the square root of 4 is 2. I could probably do it faster than putting it in your calculator. And remember, because it's square rooted, we do a plus and a minus because we have positive 3 over 2 times positive 3 over 2 and negative 3 over 2 times a negative 3 over 2 also would make this, okay? So there's your 2 answers there. If you don't get that in your calculator, you're plugging it in wrong somehow, just make sure you're square rooting the entire fraction, not just the top, okay? All right, let's look at example number 3. Example number 3 says 3x squared minus 11 equals 7. Okay, so the only thing that's changing in all of these equations is they are adding steps, more things for us to do. So before we can deal with this x squared and the 3, we need to get rid of that 11. So the opposite of minus 11 is plus 11. We're going to add 11. 7 and 11. 18. Wow, sorry, I'm really slow. 18. All right, how do I get rid of the 3? Divide by 3. I'm just pretending you're here and answering my questions because then I feel like it's a little bit normal. Okay, x squared equals, what's 18 over 3? 6, I think. See, when you're not here, I have no idea if I'm doing it right. 6. Okay, now how do I get rid of a square? Square root. X is going to be plus or minus square root of 6. Now, in your calculators, you probably can enter that in and you'll probably get a decimal. Or if it's a fraction, you can turn it into a decimal. Usually in these kind of problems, unless it's a really easy fraction like the 3 over 2, they often want you to put it in decimal form. They may actually, oh yeah, perfect. See, look, example 3, round the solutions to the nearest hundredths. So that tells me I need to put it in decimal form and we round it to the nearest hundredths. Remember, tenths, hundredths, okay? So the directions will kind of let you know if they want you to do it in decimal form. Is there any way we would have been able to figure that out by looking at the graph? Probably not. Or factor that? Probably not. So it's much easier to solve them this way in those situations. Okay? I hate that I have no idea if you have any questions or you're understanding. It's terrible. But we're going to move on and see what happens. Example number 4 on page 654. Okay, example 4 says, solve that crazy thing there and round the solutions to the nearest hundredth. Okay, so let's go ahead and do it. 6 times x minus 4 squared. They used a graphing calculator, a graphing calculator, it looks like to me, but that's just to check the solution. So we can still solve it without the graphing calculator. So when we have a situation like this, I have a lot to deal with this parentheses and this exponent, so it would really be great if I could get rid of this 6 right away and not have to deal with it anymore. So since it's multiplying with this parentheses, let's divide by 6. Okay, when we divide by 6, it goes away, and we have over here 7. Okay. Now, the opposite of a square is a square root. I know there's parentheses here and that looks really weird, but we're still going to solve it the same way. We're still going to square root to get what we need taken care of. So to get rid of the square, we're going to square root, and that's okay. Because when I square root a square, that'll go away and I'll still be left with this parentheses situation right here. Okay, all it has done is taken care of the squared right here. Perfect. But I have to square root this side as well, remember, to be fair, and it's a plus or minus square root of 7. Okay? The reason I'm not actually putting the decimal point yet is because I still have some work to do over here, and I think it's easier to leave it like this till the very end. So I'm just leaving it as square root of 7 for now because I have to deal with this over here. If I took those parentheses away, because I don't really need them there anymore, to get rid of a minus 4, I'd add 4, right? And I'm going to add 4 to this side to be fair. Now this is a little bit weird, but once you use your calculator, you'll see it's no problem. So I added 4 to this side, but I also had a plus or minus square root of 7. Okay? So we're going to have 2 answers. The first one we're going to do is 4 plus the square root of 7. And the second we're going to do is 4 minus the square root of 7. So let's go ahead and do 4 plus the square root of 7 in our calculators. Go. And it says round to the nearest hundredth, so you should do it, and it looks like it's 6.65. If you didn't get that, you might want to try square root of 7 equals plus 4. But you should be able to plug this right in there and make it work. Don't put both symbols in there, that won't understand what that is. Do 4 plus the square root of 7, and now we're going to go back in our calculator and do 4 minus the square root of 7. And when you do that, you should get, when we round, 1.35. Okay, so you're going to have to do it twice, but because these calculators are so awesome, you can just backtrack and switch the plus to a minus, and it should be fine. Okay, and there's your 2 solutions. All right, so this is much faster than graphing and much faster than factoring. You just have to do some mathing, just some regular algebra, moving things around, and then square root to get here. All right, so example number 5 on 654 is just another one of those vertical motion models. You do them exactly the same way as we've done before. The only thing that'll be different is you're going to have some decimal answer. You're going to solve it like this and have some decimals in your answer, okay? So go ahead and look online for the assignment, and if you have any questions, feel free to FaceTime me and let me know, and that's it. I think you guys can do this, no problem, and hopefully it goes smoothly for you. Okay, have a great day. Bye.